Hi guys and welcome back to Creative Pet Keeping. My name is Kasha. I am your host and this is another episode of Fish Fan Friday, where the weekly show where I give you updates on all my fish. And let's get started with the Betta sorority. The girls are doing well. I've taken out 2 of the crown tail females because I am considering possibly selling those so I can keep more of my koi in here, more koi females. The koi mom is in here because she's really picky, and they eat a lot faster than her. So for now, I'm keeping her in here so I can feed her separately. And this is kind of what's happening in this tank. I've been moving plants around between different tanks, so some got uprooted. It's kind of a mess. Nothing too super interesting is happening in this tank, but everyone is doing really well. I do have a lot of cool floating plants up here that you can see. Some of them I got from H2O Plants, so it's doing pretty well. Then over here, I've got a lot of the bettas that I am growing out, getting them ready to take photos of them and sell them. This one has already been sold, but the future owner lives in Florida, and because of the evacuation asked me to hold on to the fish for a little longer. So I'm going to contact the person I think today and find out if she's going to be ready for shipment on this upcoming Tuesday. Then over here I have a lot of my metallics that you guys are very familiar with. I have 2 males over here that I am considering keeping to send to shows and compete with. I have the 2 crown tail females over here. I have some new koi that I've just recently jarred. Well, that's my cellophane, but there's a koi right here that's really cute. It's got like half a black face and the rest is white. Then I have this one right here, and then another koi. I'm just giving them a little more time because they are kind of small to grow out before they become available for sale. And then over here I have a few more of my metallics. For those of you that don't know, metallics are really interesting because when you shine light on them, well, this one really shows it, they really show really cool colors. So as you can see without light, you're like, oh, this fish is not that interesting. But then when you shine light on the fish, look at that, that's a beautiful aqua color. This one's like a purple reddish. I have one female that's been turning very red, more red than the others. It's hard to see, but she's very interesting. These are some of the males I'm considering keeping. You can't really see them, but they are the aqua colored. Yeah, you can kind of see the shimmers. There's one in a really large jar back here. So that's kind of what's going on. I've been actually starting to boil more Indian almond leaves and start storing them in bottles. So I have more Indian almond leaves, and then here I have some food and a cute little timer. Look at this little timer. It's a little cat face. And then of course I'm always spilling water, so I'm starting to make a habit of just keeping a towel over here. And then these are the containers I use for photography. They have little dividers, and then here I have some pellets that I'm going to be using later to feed everyone. So let me kind of back up and show you. A lot of you guys have been asking about these lights, and these are kitchen lights. They're supposed to be hung up inside cabinets to illuminate cabinets, and I believe you can get these in Home Depot, I think. They're super old. I mean, we've got these like years and years ago, and I found them one day. No one was using them. So I was like, can I have them? And I've been kind of using them to help light up the jars. I have also been using my heat lamp that I used to use for Ducky, the ducky that I rescued. For those of you that don't know, I did find a little stray duck. I ended up taking him to the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. I have a few videos on that on my channel. So that was the heat lamp I was using to keep him warm. I ended up putting a high output light in here, so that way I can light everyone up more evenly, and it's on a timer. So without it, as you can see, I still have these lights, and they're still nice, and they do light up the fish, but this definitely makes a difference. And I think it's also great for all the guppy grass and some of the hair grass algae that is in here in every jar, kind of helping keep the water clean. Now, it doesn't illuminate everything very well, so as you can see, it kind of illuminates more jars on this side, and then it gets kind of darker over here. So that's why I use the light to kind of compensate, and just together combined, they are awesome. And of course, all of them are half carded, as you can see. I have no clue what just happened, but my camera stopped filming. So what I was saying, because I was talking and I thought I was filming, but I wasn't, is that I half card these so that these guys can, during the day, kind of still flare each other and see each other a little bit, but not so much. And then what I do is I pull these out and uncard them, as I've already done over here. I do this once or twice a day for a few minutes, and this allows them to flare at each other and kind of have these little mini mock battles through the jars. And this is a great form of exercise for these bettas, especially because they are in these smaller temporary jars before they, you know, go to become sold and go to their new homes, and hopefully will be kept in nice larger tanks. This is kind of what I do, and this allows them to flare and exercise. It gets them really excited, and just lets me also kind of see their form a little bit better, because as they flare, they do open up all their fins, so I can kind of see in what shape all the fins are. Like, this is a young female right here. She's actually showing breeding bars on her. This female is showing breeding bars as well. Some of these females are kind of ready to breed, ready to go. This is another female. You can see the egg spot. Sometimes on the darker ones, you could really see the egg spot. It's pretty pronounced. This, I think, is a male. Yes, yeah, it's a male. And yeah, this is kind of the update on the jars. These girls are having a big battle right now. But it's good for them. It definitely is. So let's move on and let me show you the other tanks. So I finally moved things around and kind of organized my little corner of my kitchen. I moved the quarantine tank over here. There are currently no fish. And let's actually start from here. Let me get down. So right here is a 5.5 gallon that I'm currently keeping all of my guppies that I've had in all my other tanks just in here, and a few endlers that I need to pull out. I've been just kind of letting them breed. They have a sponge bubble filter in the back. Over here is my quarantine tank that I kept the plecos in previously, but now I am trying to sink some driftwood I found on the beach, and I'm using a desk lamp to kind of light up these tanks on both sides. Down here I have my 5 gallon taller tank. I think it's 5.5, and then some critter keepers. Then I have some supplies, a canister filter, and some of my other fishy things. These are some of the smallest fry that I'm growing out. These are predominantly females at this point, and they're starting to get a little nippy, so I have to probably start jarring them very soon. They're starting to get kind of mean, like my little runt over here. That one is actually my favorite little koi, and I am actually going to keep this little girl because she's tiny and really cute. The tank doesn't look that interesting because the Indian almond leaves are kind of decomposing, so it kind of makes everything a little ugly looking, but that is okay. Soon this tank will probably be empty as I start moving everybody out and jarring them, but you know, with these guys moving on to new homes hopefully soon, I'll have more room to potentially breed in the future. So that's kind of what's going on here. I have a lot of duckweed. I have some pothos plants in the corner with some roots. This pothos plant kind of fell in here. I'm going to have to pick it up in a little bit. I've been putting my powder right here. I put it in a little basket just because it won't be on the ground. If I spill water, it won't get wet. And then I put a little fake plant right here to try to cover it up. And then here is my 20 gallon long divided tank with all my males, including my favorite, Arnold. Oh, are you gonna flare at my finger? Oh, he is. Oh, you're so mean. You're such a butt. You're such a butt, Arnold. For those of you that pay close attention to the setups of my tanks, I did move some fish around. So the half moon koi is on this side. Demon Betta, who's hanging out in the back, is still in the same spot. Arnold is in the same spot. I ended up putting the red male, red plaquette male in here. And because Blueberry, who used to be a cellophane, like kind of like a whitish Betta, became completely blue. He's living up to his name as Blueberry. He was kind of blending in with the aquarium gravel. Oh my gosh, ignore my horrible nail polish is falling off. I ended up putting him in here because he'll, stand out a little bit against the white gravel, and this guy will stand out just fine against here. And then this is the koi dad, just hanging out over here, kind of being grumpy in his little corner. There's a lot of algae growing back there, but it looks really pretty, so I'm just kind of letting it be. So that is, let me step back, how this tank looks like. I also have some pothos plants. I have bubble filters in every other compartment. I am considering, oh, I see a rainbow. Do you guys see the rainbow? There's a rainbow in the video. But, gosh, I got so distracted. So there is a filter, bubble filter here, bubble filter here, bubble filter here, and of course all these dividers that I got from A Life with Pets on YouTube. Oh my gosh, it's so much glare. Have holes in them so the water does move around. I am considering adding bubble filters to all of these compartments. So far, I think just having 3 for the entire tank seems to be enough, but I might add more. I also have 1 heater in the middle compartment, but I am considering getting 2 heaters and then moving 1 heater here and then putting the other heater here, so that way the heat will be more evenly distributed as we get into the winter months. Oh, and of course the males are really excited because I did move them around and kind of change the order. They are very aware of who is their neighbor, and they do notice if a fish changes, so they've been kind of flaring and being really sassy because they can see each other. This guy is Demon Betta. He is currently my oldest male. He is called Demon Betta because he will murder anything and everything he can. He's quite a oh, he's flaring. And then this guy is flaring as well, lovely koi. I really need to get a name for him because I still haven't picked a name that I like, and I still need to get a name for this guy as well. Now the old father, his name was Samurai, and I don't know if I really want to keep it or not. Oh, he's trying to make a bubble nest on one of the leaves. But that's kind of what's happening here. So if you guys would like, you can give me some suggestions down in the comments below for names. As always, I'm open to suggestions. And speaking of bettas and suggestions, I will be having a live stream tomorrow with Amber from Big City Bettas. She is a betta breeder at 3 p.m. Central Time. So if you would like for us to talk about certain betta topics, or if you have questions, please leave them in the comments with hashtag AskCPK. That way I'll know it's a question for tomorrow's live stream, so I can hopefully answer it. So that way, in case you missed the live stream and then end up rewatching it in the future, your question can still hopefully be answered. Okay, let's move on to the rest of the tanks. The multi-tank is doing really well. The multis are kind of shy. They do come out when I feed them, but right now I've been moving around, so I've constantly been scaring them, but they're still kind of peeking out. So they're kind of adjusting. I have some adults as well as a tiny little juvenile. Can you see the little guy? So little. I also have some hair grass algae growing in here, but I like it. I think it actually looks pretty cool. Oh, that one just came out of its shell. So I'll definitely have to do a more in-depth video. As you can see, they have been digging, so sand has been moving around. They buried this shell over here in the corner completely. Well, almost completely. So this is kind of interesting how they're redecorating this place to their own preferences. And I do kind of like how I have the algae growing down here, because a lot of multi-tanks that I've seen are usually just sand and some rocks and gravel. You don't really see a lot of plants because they do dig up some plants. So it's kind of interesting. I kind of like this. I have more pothos plant in the corner. And then I have some random duckweed growing in here as well. Lastly is the 20-gallon tall tank with my endlers as well as the bristlenose plecos. They're doing really well in their home. They've been really active and moving around. Hopefully the plants in this tank will grow out more. I've kind of underplanted it so I can give the plants a lot of space. And I don't have the light on for too long. I actually have it only for 7 hours a day because I'm hoping not to have any algae problems. So I started out with less light. But besides that, nothing too interesting has been happening in this tank. I still am totally in love with this driftwood. I would love to add more driftwood into this tank. I'm starting to become a big fan of driftwood. My pothos plant has been really growing. I've been actually pinning it to the side of my wall. It's next to my ugly Betta wannabe painting, abstract painting thing I did. It's actually growing from inside of the filter, and then I have another pothos plant right here. So that's kind of how this tank is doing at the moment. I don't really intend on doing much with this tank. I know it doesn't look very interesting, but I'll let the plants grow out, and I kind of don't really want to touch it because, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want any algae explosions in here, as this tank is prone to getting too much algae because it is in the room with a window. The water is kind of getting yellowish because the driftwood is releasing a lot of tannins. So even though I did a water change on Wednesday, it's already getting pretty yellow. If I didn't have the light with the blue on, it would look even more yellow. Look at this. With a normal white light, this is how yellow it is. This light, on the other hand, because it's got a lot of blue and red lights, it sort of kind of evens the color out, so it looks more white. But that is kind of what is going on here. I will be going to the Greater Chicago Cichlid Association on Sunday. So if you're in Chicago, in the Chicago area, and if you're going to the Greater Chicago Cichlid Association Fish Swap, maybe you're going to run into me. Who knows, who knows. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. There's always sirens. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Chicago life is always interesting. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe to this channel if you already haven't. I put out new videos every week about my fish as well as my other pets. And have, at this point, I think I've surpassed 200 videos. So if you're new, be sure to kind of browse through my channel and check out some of my older videos. You might like them. I hope that you have an awesome day. And I'll see you tomorrow in the live stream or Monday. Bye!